Hello. Let's get this started. Let me go remind some people. How are y'all tonight? Oh, there we go. We're good. Okay, good. Good. There we go. We're good. What are the dogs doing? All right. Now we will wait for some people to hop on. I have a few projects to work on while we are together tonight. And as always, my whole kitchen countertop here is completely full of stuff. I have this, we're going to be turning over a batch of kombucha. So if you've never seen that before, now's your chance. Say something to me if you can see me. It's Thursday night. Hallelujah. All right, say something to me if you can see me and hear me. Hey, Lisa, you're number one tonight. Woohoo! All right. Well, let's see. It's 6:59, so we will go ahead and get started. So for one thing tonight, I am very proud because my daughter, I have a 30-year-old daughter, and she lives with us, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. And she is headlining tonight at the Addison Improv. So I'm very, very proud of her. She's very excited and, of course, nervous. And the show starts in 30 minutes. And then she has people openers and stuff, and then she'll be the last one. So I don't know how late she'll be tonight, probably significantly late, but I'm very proud of her. So that's great. And so just talking about our 30-year-old daughter living with us, it's incredibly, difficult to launch right now. Housing is so much. And so she initially moved in with us because of that. But over time, she's been with us over a year now. And over time, I've just really grown to believe that, kids just moving out when they're 18, that's maybe kind of a myth. I don't think it necessarily serves, like in her situation, I don't think it serves anybody for her to go live by herself. I mean, why do that? Like, she lives here. She takes care of the dogs while we aren't here. We take care of her dog when she's not here. It's just another adult here to do things. And I like having her around. In fact, I like having her around because, I'm done raising her. So I'm not responsible for what she does. I'm not responsible for how she acts. She's another fully formed, fully functioning human being that I just get to enjoy. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on that. All right, let's get this kombucha turned over. So this gallon jug of kombucha, this is, again, kombucha is fermented sweet tea. And I don't know if you can see, do you see that kind of light layer on the top there? So this is the SCOBY, which is an acronym. It stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast, SCOBY. And that's what that is. And that's what contains all the goodies that come in and ferment the tea. So this particular gallon has been fermenting for quite some time. In fact, I pH tested it before we started, and the pH is like 2.5, which is super low. Like it needs to be below 4.5, but this is 2.5, so it's really well fermented. It doesn't hurt anything. It just makes it more sour. So it just depends on how you like it. But here, let me show you what happens on the top of the kombucha. Look, see, it's making a new SCOBY. That wasn't there before. All right, so I'm going to show you how you turn over a batch of kombucha. Be sure to ask any questions if you have them. All right, so first of all, what I'm doing, let me reorient this a little bit so you can see. Okay, so this is just a bowl. Let me get this out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little bit of the brewed kombucha into here. Because just like when you do sourdough, you have to have a little bit of the sourdough starter that you feed that makes more sourdough starter. Same thing with kombucha. You need to have a little bit of the already brewed kombucha to start the next batch. And then this is the mature SCOBY. So isn't that weird looking? Kind of feels like plastic. Anyway, so we're going to put that in there. Obviously, I had already washed my hands. It's important to have clean hands. All right, so we're going to set this aside. Also, before we started, I boiled water, and this is a half-gallon jar and brewed tea, and there's 1 cup of sugar in it. So this is brewed dark enough. I'm going to go ahead and take the bag out. So now this is really hot. If I were to pour this, if I were to put the SCOBY in it right now, it would die because it's really hot. So we don't want to do that. So we're setting that to the side and letting it cool. Now, the next thing is we need to bottle this up. So these are the bottles that I have for my home use. They're too expensive if you were making kombucha to sell, but I just get these at Container Store, and they just seal like this, and then I just reuse them over and over. Let me show you what I got to possibly sell kombucha. No, that's not the right batch. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. So I'm playing with different bottles. The big thing is the lid. The lid needs to seal enough so that the carbonation will stay in there. To me, hey Sherry, I need the carbonation to stay in here. So I imagine when I open this, the problem I'm having is that it carbonates too much and it explodes out. So here, let's try it and we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but let's see. Yeah, you probably, can you hear it? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get a glass of ice and have this after. But even in a bottle of real kombucha, it will sometimes form a SCOBY at the top. So real food, is different than industrially processed food. In fact, that's one of the things I was thinking about tonight. Let me put this back in the refrigerator real quick. When you get things from a small producer, like a local farm or something like that, it is going to be different than the factory getting things at Target, kind of thing. Case in point, let me show you this. So I'm having a canning class this weekend, and these are some jars of tomatoes that I did in advance. And do you see that down there? It's just water. It's when you process tomatoes, there's a ton of water. And if you were to get a can of crushed tomatoes, like from Target or something, there wouldn't be water on the bottom. And there isn't that much water on the bottom in several of the cans, but there just is. And you would just use this and that's fine. When you actually make something or you buy something locally, it isn't going to be like it is if it came from a factory. So anyway, that's my only point about that. So back to the kombucha. So this is blackberry syrup that I made out of our homegrown blackberries. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about this much in the bottom of each one of these jars. And then I will fill it up to the shoulders with the kombucha, and then it's going to undergo secondary fermentation. Obviously, with this being syrup, there is sugar in here, and all of the bacteria and yeast that's in this kombucha is going to eat the sugar that's in that blackberry syrup, and that is what's going to make it become carbonated. The nut that I'm trying to crack right now is having a drink that is good and carbonated and that won't explode when the consumer opens it. So there, isn't that pretty? I only fill it up to here because I've tried filling it all the way up versus here, and it gets better carbonation if I only fill it up to here. So there's that. So I'll just whip these out. Have any of y'all ever had homebrewed kombucha before? Did you, coming into this live tonight, did you even know what kombucha was? It's just fermented sweet tea. That's all. And we all know how good fermented foods are for us. And if you don't, you should look it up. There's fermentation is part of why sourdough is so good for you. Fermented vegetables, you know, all different kinds of fermented foods. Fermentation, it just really helps our gut, and it's really good for us. I have a lot of blackberries still in the freezer that I need to well, Sherry, when are you coming to Texas again? Because we'll get you some kombucha. It does not taste, I don't drink sweet tea either. I drink unsweet tea. It doesn't taste like tea. It tastes like a soda. At least mine does. But I would like to get to the point where I can sell it, because our new cottage food law here in Texas allows me to sell it. But I need to work out the kinks of, I think that I need to work out the kinks of it exploding in the consumer's hands, because I don't think consumers will like that very much. Yeah, that's all it is just healthy soda. So the last batch that I made, I used ginger as the flavoring agent for the secondary fermentation, which I really like. It's super healthy. Ginger is so anti-inflammatory. Two problems. One is, see, when I do it for my home consumption and I pour it into my glass, I just use a little strainer and it strains the little bits of ginger out of it. And I think it's kind of cool that you can actually see that it has real ginger in it. And I mean, it's a real food thing, but I don't know if consumers are really going to want to do that. How did you make strawberry soda, Sherry? I have never had kombucha mold. I suppose theoretically it's possible. Pour a little more in here. The other issue I have with the ginger kombucha is that when I drink it, it gives me heartburn. Like the actual fresh ginger, it gives me heartburn. So that's my other issue. right. I'm going to use the rest of the syrup. So I need to make more of that. And I'll use the rest of the kombucha. Whoops, I guess I need to use the funnel. All right. And now I will set these aside for a couple of weeks. Some people don't ferment it that long, but I like it really fermented and really fizzy. So that's why I do it for a while. So I am not going to remake the new batch yet because the tea is still very, it's still very hot, but I am going to explain to you how to do it. So when this tea cools off, then what I'll do is I will pour the cooled off sweet tea back into this gallon jug, and I will put the SCOBY and this saved kombucha into the gallon jug. And then I will fill up the rest of the gallon jug with filtered water up to the shoulders of the jar. And then I will, you put this muslin with a rubber band just to keep fruit flies out of it. And you put it in a dark place, say the pantry, and you let it ferment until you think of it again. And I think I just got a picture from someone who is at, this is from a friend who's at Ruthie's show. They just texted me that. How fun is that? Let me text her back right quick. Her, like 20 people from her little company are coming, and she went in this morning and it was on the company calendar. So she's so excited. She works for such a great company. So anyway, there's that. Now the next project I brought with me to do today. Get all that sticky off my hands. Oh, speaking of sticky, let me show you this. New in the farm shop, I have this fermented honey garlic, or garlic honey. I see it said both ways, but the first time I ever learned about it, it said fermented honey garlic. But anyway, so the organic garlic fermented in my raw honey for about 6 weeks. And then it's jarred up here, and you can use it culinarily and also medicinally. It's obviously with garlic and raw honey, it's very good for your immune system, fighting off illnesses and things like that. And also you could either like take a spoonful of the honey, or you can even eat the garlic cloves, which don't burn like fresh garlic does because it's been fermenting in honey. Also, you could use it in meat marinades and salad dressings and just anything that you can think of that you would use garlic and honey for. So there's that. So it's in the shop. And then the next honey that's going to be coming down the pike, I have this infusing right now, is cinnamon. I'm going to have cinnamon infused honey. These are organic cinnamon, actual Ceylon cinnamon sticks. And it'll be in here for about, okay, good. It'll be in here for about 6 weeks, and then I'll strain the cinnamon sticks out and jar it up, and it'll be nice cinnamon honey. So that'll be the next thing. All right. So out at the farm, which I just edited the video I shot about the workman that came out last Wednesday. I was back out yesterday and got even more stuff done. I got so much done. The farm is looking so good. I am getting ready for 2 things. One is I've mentioned I'm going out of town on Tuesday. I'll be gone for like 11 days. We're going all the way to Fiji. My bee Minty Celeste is going to take care of the chickens, which is great. And yeah, so just getting ready to be gone for that. And then also getting ready to have my surgery on December 1st. So I'm not like I'm resetting beds, but I'm not replanting them because I won't be physically able to harvest them. Oh, another thing, I went to harvest the sweet potatoes out of the backyard. Now I had 3 beds of them out at the farm, and then I had 2 beds of them here at the home garden. And the ones out at the farm did way better. And do you know why? I think it's because, ooh, Lisa, how did you get bumped to number 2? Anyway, I think it's because of the irrigation. I think it's because I have irrigation out at the farm and I don't have it here at home. The soil was a lot drier here at home and there weren't nearly as many potatoes. So I think that's going to be I think that's going to be a project for after I'm back on my feet again, is doing the automatic drip irrigation in the home garden. Yeah, really important. All right, next up. So out at the farm, I grow a lot of medicinal plants. And this is a plant called mullein, M-U-L-L-I-E-N or E-I-N. I don't remember. Let me tell you what it's good for. I think it's I-E-N. Nope, it's E-I-N. Anyway, yeah, it's supposed to help the lungs by easing coughs, loosening mucus, and calming inflammation. It acts as an expectorant, helps you cough up phlegm. Yeah. And so I have been drying this for a long time. It's really dry. Let me get a bowl right quick. Well, I think teas are how you would use it if it was going to help your lungs. Yeah, when making mullein tea, you should strain it thoroughly to remove any fine hairs from the leaves and flowers, which can cause irritation, which it is a fuzzy, like a soft, fuzzy plant. Yeah. You could, you can make a tea, a tincture, or oil, and it can be used topically or taken internally. So, yeah. Anyway, but right now, I'm just going to grind this up and put it in this. So let me get a big bowl to grind it into. All right, here's the little S-hooks that I use to hang my drying herbs on my seed starting shelves. Those shelves are so valuable. I use them, like right now, I've got one set out in the garage curing my sweet potato harvest. Here, I'll show you the picture of that. Yes, yeah, I planted them. I started them, indoors, and then I moved them to outdoors. But yes, I started these from seed. Where are this? Here they are. Well, anyway, there's one picture. And that's not even all of them. That's just one picture. Lots of sweet potatoes. Oh, yeah. In a single year? Yeah. It grows really fast. And it's a huge plant, so leave lots of room for it. Well, the good news is that a pack of seeds isn't that much, so you could replace it if you needed stuff. Well, Lisa, just check your luggage. What's the matter with that? When are you going out there? Sherry, are you allergic to dogs? Ruthie's allergic to cats, and she has been out of town. She was in Chicago and she was in Colorado. And both houses where she stayed had cats. And so she came home sick with bronchitis. Next time she will take allergy medicine before she does that. So is it your dog, Sherry? I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't want any of the herbs to drift over into it. Oh, okay. Yeah, she strikes me as Fred. Yeah, you say you have I've had a sore throat since the dog moved in. Oh, I'm gonna have to get a drink of water. I think I inhaled some. One of the things I'm allergic to is dust mites, and I started to where I was waking up with a sore throat every day. It would resolve later in the morning, but I was waking up with a sore throat every day. So I actually ended up getting one of those zipper allergy pillow covers, because what was happening was I was getting dust mites in my pillow. Anyway, I stopped having a sore throat when I woke up in the morning. Silly allergies. I have a friend that I work with at work. She's allergic to dogs. And she just decided that she wanted a dog. And so she just got a dog. And eventually her body got over it. So I don't know if it would work that way for everyone, but apparently it does sometimes. There's a YouTube channel I've started watching called More Than Farmers, and a really sweet young couple that that homesteads, I think in Ohio. And when she does her herbs and medicinal plants, she puts them through her blender. I don't know if I want to do that or not, but maybe I should. Maybe it would be more consistent size. Here's what it looks like right now. Maybe I should put it through the blender. The other two plants I have over there to process, one is a comfrey. You've certainly heard of comfrey. Yeah, I have a coffee grinder, but I think I would need to have a dedicated coffee grinder. Plus, the capacity is a lot less. Like my coffee grinder holds like this much, whereas my blender, would hold a lot more. But the other plants that I have to process tonight, I have yarrow and I have comfrey. Certainly you've heard of comfrey before. So I have those also. I've had them drying for the longest time. And then out in the garage on the same set of shelves where the sweet potatoes are curing, I have more mullein, and I have plantain, not the banana thing, the medicinal plantain. So I process these, store them in jars, and then like if it's something that I want to make a salve out of, the next step is you would fill it with oil and let it infuse for several weeks, and then strain the herbs out, and then you have an infused oil, and then you can make salves and balms and things like that out of it. So I'm, again, leaving on Tuesday. Oh, yes, you cure sweet potatoes because it helps them store longer. It makes it to where, like if you were just to put them in a place, just like they come out of the ground, then they might get some soft spots and whatnot. You want to let them cure. I understand that it also converts some of the sugars that are in there. So they get sweeter, but then also it makes the outside skin a little more durable, so they stay good longer. So that's what curing sweet potatoes is. You do the same thing to onions. They don't just come out of the ground with that papery skin. They come out with, well, that papery skin isn't dry. It's moist. I know some people don't like that word, but and then you have to lay it out to where air can get around it for, a good couple, 3 weeks, and let to where the outside dries, and then you can store them, and then they look like they do at the store, which is another reason those wire shelves that I get from Home Depot are so good. I love those shelves. I put casters on the bottom, so I like right now they're out in the garage doing the sweet potatoes. During the winter, I have them in here doing the seed starting. Just you can use them for all sorts of different things. Sometimes they're in the way, but usually they're good. Hello, Dawn. How are you? I'm glad you're here. We're just processing some mullein here, which is a medicinal plant that's good for your lungs. My husband's coming downstairs. He's been taking a nap. Yeah. How was your nap? Good. All right. Well, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Getting a lot done at the farm right now, which is good since I'm about to be gone for almost 2 weeks. I have a canning class. If you're here in the Dallas area, I have a canning class this weekend. We're going to be canning tomatoes. In fact, I took 5 or 6 bags of the frozen tomatoes that I was storing up since the early summer, and I'm thawing them out so that we can can them. You saw the jar that I showed you. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be canning. We're going to be canning fresh tomatoes. There's a lot of different things you can do if you want. You could make barbecue sauce. You could make ketchup. You could make spaghetti sauce, whatever, and jar it that way. I choose to just jar the tomatoes because I don't know what I'm going to want to make with it. Like the chili recipe that I use, it just calls for cans of crushed tomatoes. So in that case, I can use that. Or if you want to make spaghetti sauce or something, there we go. Yes, Lisa, I'm glad that you're here. So far, there's only 4 spots taken. So apparently canning is not nearly as popular a subject as sourdough. Sourdough wins the day. My last sourdough class, I had 3 friends, and the whole reason they even looked for a sourdough class was because of Taylor Swift being into sourdough. Because Taylor Swift said she was into sourdough, they wanted to find a sourdough class. Where is it at? It's here in my home in Murphy, Texas. My farm is in Nevada, Texas, and I live in my home in Murphy, Texas, and that's where the canning class is, and all the other classes that I've had. What else would you like to see a class about? Like, do you think there's enough to talk about? Like, is kombucha popular enough to have a class about it? I don't know. It may be that I would just have to put one out there and see if it fills up. I don't know. But I put them out on Eventbrite, and that people tend to find them on Eventbrite. I guess people just look for stuff to do, I guess. I don't know how that works. Whew. This didn't look like that much, but it is a lot. So I don't know how many of y'all drive like in traffic and whatnot, but I still work full time and commute about half an hour. What do you use the yarrow and the comfrey for? So, oh, hey, Dawn, I'm sorry. You probably don't want to commute down here for the class. Yarrow, Sherry, I know the leaves are very good for stopping bleeding. I'm not much of an herbalist. I have to look up everything because I don't remember it in my brain. I have tons of books about it, but I don't store it in my brain. Yeah, so yarrow is antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and astringent. It's used in teas, tinctures, and topical applications. Say that 3 times fast. Yeah, it stops bleeding. For instance, the example I give is if I'm out at the farm and have a tragic tractor accident, if I can get over to the bed that has all the yarrow plants in them, what I'm told is you can just take the leaves off of the fresh plant and just put it, and it just stops the bleeding just like that. So that's interesting. And then comfrey, let's see. What is comfrey used for? It almost asked, what is Humphrey used for? Comfrey is used almost exclusively for topical applications to treat pain, inflammation, and skin issues. While it was traditionally taken orally, this practice is now considered unsafe due to its toxicity. Good to know. So probably make a balm out of that of some kind. Yeah. Historically known as knit bone, comfrey can stimulate new cell growth and accelerate the healing of wounds, cuts, burns, and skin ulcers. Comfrey creams and ointments are used to treat pain and inflammation associated with osteoarthritis, gout, and other joint disorders. It is used for sprains, bruises, muscle soreness, and other sports-related injuries. It can moisturize and soothe dry, irritated skin and has been explored for treating eczema-induced skin damage. Anyway, so good stuff. All right. Well, I have always, yes. In fact, Lisa, I don't get back till the 25th of October. I can dig up comfrey roots. They're so prolific. Like I need to dig some up, and I could. It is such a strong plant. Like it'll take over your life. So if we can, let me try and dig up some roots, and I'll send it with you, and then you'll have it. All right. So I've only ever wanted to keep y'all for half an hour, and we're almost. I'm breathing this in at 37 minutes. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you're subscribed. Check out any of my videos. I'll see you next Thursday at 7 o'clock where I'll be going live from Fiji. So come on in. No, she doesn't. It's just little. She can take it. All right. See y'all later. Bye.